Oh. What? Do you want to be in the story time? Hi. Cutest puppy ever. Say hi to YouTube. Gosh, I can't film with you, huh? Dogs are so dramatic. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Maddie here, and do I have a story time for you? This has been something that people around me have been asking me a lot lately, and I've also gotten a few comments asking me why I moved from Michigan to Georgia, so I thought I would answer this in a story time because it's very long and complicated, and yeah, I can't just answer it in like 2 seconds, so I thought I would talk to you guys about it. So this is the story time about how I moved across the country my senior year of high school. Whoa! Yeah. And I saw this video on Ally Hardesty's channel, and I thought it was a super good idea because honestly, a lot of people... Okay, you can leave. Be free. Be free. I saw this video on Ally Hardesty's channel, and I thought this was such a good idea because a lot of people probably go through this and don't realize that there's a ton of other people out there who have experienced this and probably have felt the exact same way that they did. So I'm here to talk about it with you guys. So it's middle of junior year, and I'm having a casual conversation with my mom about college, because you know how that thing goes where everybody expects you to know exactly what you want to do when you graduate, except I'm a weird child and I've always known what I wanted to go into. I've always known I wanted to act and be in the entertainment industry, and so, you know, telling my mom that, but I'm from Michigan. There is literally nothing in the entertainment industry in the entire state of Michigan. Like, there's nothing to do out there. So I was kind of complaining about that. And I don't know about you guys, but I have 5 siblings, so things were financially tight for me growing up. Still are, but you know, because I'm paying for everything. But anyway, yeah, growing up with 5 kids, my parents did the best they could to, you know, allocate money for each of us, but that meant we had to grow up and we had to pay for things on our own, including college. And so that was looming in the back of my mind, and I knew when I went to a college in Michigan, it would be a community college, which, one, I wasn't going to be getting the education that I wanted to get from the specific college that I would be going to, and then 2, nothing near the education I wanted to receive in the field I wanted to go in. There's nothing to do with acting or performing or even anything in the industry at that school. So I was complaining about that and complaining about how I was going to go into debt paying for an education I didn't even want nor need it. And then I started comparing the United States to, you know, European schools where you don't have to pay to go to college. And my mom was like, oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, and then I started talking about how states like California and Georgia have in-state programs where if you have above a certain GPA, like in Georgia, it's Hope or Zell, where if you have like a 3.5 or higher, you get paid tuition in college. So basically, some people can go for free. And my mom thought that was really cool, and I thought that was the end of the conversation. We were done. A couple weeks later, I get called into a family meeting with my mom and dad, which I thought was super weird because I never went into a family meeting by myself. So I thought I was in trouble for something. Thought I was about to get grounded, which I never got grounded, so kill me now. And I went in, and my parents were like, so we thought a lot about what you said, and we decided if you want to move for your senior year, we will support you. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And my mom was like, yeah, like your aunt and uncle live in Georgia, your grandparents live in Georgia. We talked to them about it. They're cool with you moving in with them if that's what you wanted to do to pursue your career. And I was just like, whoa. That thought hadn't even crossed my mind. And so I told them I'd have to think about it, but the more and more I thought about it, the more it made sense, because the entertainment industry is now fully saturated in Georgia. It is #1 in the United States. California is like #4 in the world, and Atlanta is #1. So why wouldn't I do it, you know? Why not go to a high school in Georgia right by Atlanta and then go to a college where I could also get my foot in the door there? Like, duh, I'd have to be crazy not to, right? But like, as the time went on, I started getting nervous because I had grown up in this small town all my life, and I've had my best friends, like the same exact best friends, since I was 6th, 7th grade. Like, that was crazy, but I was super excited about it. And so the first person I told was my very best friend in the world. She lived right next door to me, so I called her over when I made the decision, and I told her in an exciting way, and that was the worst thing to do possible because of course she's gonna be so upset. And so I still remember this. We were upstairs in my living room floor. I was home alone when I told her, and we were both sobbing like 5 minutes later. Then my family comes home and we're just sitting on my living room floor petting my dog, crying. And so that was a dramatic situation. Then I decided to like try to break it to people a lot better. And I don't know, I guess I'm one of those people where I laugh in uncomfortable situations because I don't know how to react. And so every time I would tell somebody, I'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm moving to Georgia next year, what's up? And it was just like, I'm a horrible person. And the more and more people I told, I would just like start second guessing myself, and by almost the end of the year I did not want to go. And it was like prom and we were all having fun, and I would just sit back and watch all my friends like having this great time and just think to myself like, wow, this is going to be them next year but without me. Like, they're going to be having all these cool experiences and I'm not going to be there. And one of my best friends had moved the year before, and I saw how hard it was for her and how weird it was for us the next year, like trying to acclimate without her. And so that just started really getting into my head. By the time we got to the last day of junior year, like, I was really, I'm sweating right now thinking about it. I was so nervous to move, but I had to keep like telling myself, this is your decision. You're doing it for a reason. Like, you're basically just going to college a year early. It's fine. So, you know, went through the summer, hung out with my friends and family as much as possible, and then it comes down to the day before I move. And y'all, I've actually like got in the car to move to Georgia on my birthday. So the day before I had like my party, and honestly that was probably like, it was my going away party / birthday party, and that was probably one of the best days of my life. Like, not that's dramatic, like it wasn't, but it was in the sense where like I felt so loved and appreciated by so many people. Like, even one of my teachers came and said goodbye to me. I just felt so touched that so many people felt like I had affected their lives and that they were gonna actually miss me. Like, all throughout high school I felt like such an outcast. Like, I was, honestly, I'm a weird person, but you know, whatever. I was just like I was a mess that whole day. I was crying all the time. It was, you don't want to know. But then my like 5 or 6 best friends, they slept over that night and they wished me off that morning. That was very emotional. Like, I don't even want to get into it because they were the ones like waving me goodbye and we were all sobbing, and that was my birthday, so that was an awful day. But yeah, by the time I got to Georgia, I was super excited because I was like, okay, you can get out of your comfort zone, you can meet new people, make new friends. I needed to do that because I knew if I went into college, never having tried to branch out, I was never gonna do it, if that makes sense, because I've always been so comfortable with the people I hung out with. So it was a good step for me, you know? Needed to get out of that state. By the way, before I moved, I kind of had a preconceived notion of Georgia being like hick town. You're gonna have parties by bonfires, everyone's in overalls and high-waisted super stereotypical, I know, but like I had never been to anywhere in Georgia besides my grandpa's house and like my aunt's, and we hadn't really ever gone anywhere per se, so I didn't know what the culture was like there. And I was wrong. I moved to a place called East Cobb Snobs, which is intimidating for me because, like I said, my family struggled with money for a long time. So to go from that to a place with very rich people was very, like, whoa. Like, there were mansions everywhere you drive. Like, you're just casually winding up and down the roads and boom, like $5 million mansion, just boom. I was just like, guess this is how people live down here. Okay. Before I get sidetracked, a few days before school started, I actually went to go tour around the school, and my counselor introduced me to 2 students who were there for a club meeting. And I got super lucky because these 2 students actually happened to end up being my friends throughout my entire senior year of high school. One is a guy. I don't talk to him now, so kind of irrelevant. But the girl, we still talk to this day. She's very sweet. Her name is going to be Elsa. Let it go. Okay, no, ignore me. Elsa decides to show me around school, the student way. And then afterwards, she invites me to paint cars with her and her group of friends. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll come paint cars, which apparently is a tradition for students in the South to do, but that was not what we did in the North, so I had no clue what she meant. But anyway, I came later that night and I painted cars with them, and she introduced me to her other 3 friends, which, I'm friends with some of them, not friends with the other of them anymore, but whatever. And so then after that happened, I got invited to a party, and I had been super, like I said, I was an outcast at my school in Michigan. Like, I didn't do anything. And so when I got invited to that party, the first thing in my head was like, oh, alcohol? Drugs? What? Like, I can't do that. But then I was like, Maddie, you need to try new things. But I ended up saying no because I didn't really know people that well, so I was just like, still too scared. So, it was fine. I didn't even know if there was going to be any drugs or alcohol at this party, but I was just still too scared to go, so I said no. She was still really nice about it, and she invited me to breakfast at her house the first day of school, before school started. Fast forward to that, everybody dresses in black the first day of school, which she told me, which I'm so grateful she did, because if she didn't tell me, I would have not wore black, because I used to never wear black, and I would have, yeah, stood out like a sore thumb. So this Elsa helped me out so much my first year. Like, I'm so thankful that I met her. And I went to her house. I met a lot of people who ended up, introducing me to more people, and I'm so grateful that I happened to meet someone before school started, because, it would have been super awkward. First couple months at a new school is extremely hard because everybody already has their preformed set of cliques, everybody already knows everyone, and so everybody knows that they don't know you, and they're either going to be nice to you or they're going to ignore you, or they'll tease you. Nobody teased me to my face, which I'm very thankful of. Sometimes they make snarky comments about like, oh, new people here are so weird, but they didn't think I heard them, so I didn't really care. But yeah, it's just a very awkward thing to experience, especially when you're so used to having your friends and that's how they feel. And I'm a shy person. Like, I'm an introvert unless I know you, and then I'm very extroverted. And so to these people, I was probably the very shy, awkward, doesn't talk to anybody new girl. When really, if I had talked to anybody, they'd be like, oh, this girl, she needs to, take a step back. The first couple weeks of school were a struggle for me because I was always trying to hang out with people, but I didn't know how to go about doing that. And I would always hang out with the original group of girls who I painted cars with, but it was very apparent that two of them were best friends, and then there was just, you know, they were in with this random group of girls, and they were in a class with me, and I was always hanging out with them. But when they would want to have plans, it was like, oh, you can come, which is like, yes, I want to come, but at the same time, you don't want to be annoying and always insert yourself, because you know they're just inviting you because they want to be nice. And so it was hard for me to find that balance, and there are so many times where I would just like want to text people and be like, what are you doing? And then I would, and nobody would respond, and it was a hard transition for me to get into. I remember this one time so vividly because this is what changed my mindset and what switched my year around. We all went to this local restaurant after a football game, and it was me and that original group of girls and then some of their guy friends, and we were all just sitting there like eating chips and queso and whatever, and they were having such a good time. Like, you can just tell they'd been friends for so long and they were so happy. And one girl came over and she was like, hey, do you guys want to go on my boat this weekend? And everybody was like, oh yeah. And she never made eye contact with me. She made eye contact with everybody else at that table. And to be fair, like, we were not the best of friends. Like, we had talked pretty much every week, but only because she was in that group too. And so then when she got around, I was like the last person at the table, and when she got to me, she goes, oh, I mean, you could come too. And like, it was a very nice gesture, but the way she said it, like, I could just tell I wasn't a part of them, and I wasn't going to be for a while. And I excused myself to go to the bathroom, and I ran to my car, and I sat in my car, and I cried for like 20 minutes. They probably thought I was taking a poop. It's fine, it's whatever. I was a weird new girl anyway, but I sat there and cried just because I was like, I want this with my friends. Like, I just want to go home. This is not worth it. I don't care if I go to school in Georgia. Like, screw the film industry. I just want my friends. And then after I calmed down, I just sat there and I was like, Maddie, you want this. Like, this is your goal. You can do it. And so after that moment, I decided to put myself all into making quality friends and to getting through the year. And after that moment, my friendships with those girls, they actually elevated because they realized, like, I wasn't going anywhere. And they could either not be friends with me or be friends with me. And they decided, hey, you know, this girl actually is kind of cool. Hey. No, I don't know. I don't know why they chose to stay friends with me, but they did. And we're still friends to this day. And then, you know, met some really sketchy people at that school. I'm not going to talk about it in this video because it would be really long, but if you guys want to hear about it, give this video a thumbs up because I met some very crazy people who I could rant about this for a very long time. So the point of this video is that if you're new your senior year, you're definitely not alone, and it's 1 year. So my advice, if I had to give any, would just be to give it your all, because these people are just as new to the situation as you are. And they probably do want to be your friend, but they don't know how to go about it, just like you don't know how to go about it. So, you know, you give what you get. When I started giving more, they started giving more. And then senior year ended up being my favorite year of school. Like, my entire school experience, senior year was my favorite because I experienced so many new things and I met so many great people, and, you know, I was super proud of myself for even trying something out like that. So, you know, you get what you get, people. Thank you so much for even watching this super long, rambly, I don't know. If you're still watching this, comment a flower emoji, and that will be like our little code sign for, hey, I listened to you ramble about senior year this entire video, and I actually relate to you, so here we go. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this helped somebody or you just found it entertaining. And I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.